NFL picks for Week 15, or Week 16, I should say. The lock of the week is the Cardinals to beat the Carolina Panthers. And so the Cardinals are 8-7. Kyler Murray is born on August the 7th, a day of 8-7. The Seahawks are a terrible pretender. The Vikings are going to beat this disastrous football team. This terrible football team has now lost 2 straight games. And now Arizona's tied with Seattle. The Cardinals have already defeated the Rams, so it's basically Cardinals' following game is against the Rams. If the Cardinals beat the Rams, and guess what? They have the head-to-head tiebreak over the Rams, so the Rams' result against the Jets is insignificant in regards to the Cardinals' playoff chances. So the Rams are going to beat the terrible New York Jets. The Rams would enter the Cardinals matchup with a 9-6 record for this season. It's Murray, that's Camacho 96. The Texans are going to beat the Chiefs without Patrick Mahomes, and the Savior has to come back and save the Chiefs before the Bills end up vying for that home field spot. So now the Bills are within a game of reach of the Chiefs. This makes things more interesting. The Lions are going to beat the Bears. And the Steelers at the Ravens, it's like, man, the Ravens are bad. They could be 9-6, like Gematria of Baltimore in reverse, or Baltimore Ravens in reverse is 96. And the Pittsburgh Steelers is Gematria 96. So is Pickens going to play or not? The game is at Baltimore. Maybe the Ravens can win the AFC North on Christmas. Even though a lot of things line up, it could be a reverse double code in the making. You gotta hype up the Ravens to an extent with a win over the Bills and a win over the Steelers. Gives the NFL psyoping machine something to consider. Is Pittsburgh going to be this pretending team or not? A pretending team against the Texans would be an ideal matchup for now. Let's just say Baltimore. And well, if that does happen, then you could have another Ravens-Steelers matchup. And the Steelers, wouldn't they want to see Baltimore against Pittsburgh? And Gary Kubiak used to coach the Texans, and he won the Super Bowl with the Broncos the last time the Broncos made the playoffs. So these are some things that you must think about. Chargers have to be 9-6. The Denver's a candidate to miss the playoffs, because Cincinnati's going to have a big game against Denver. So Denver has to lose against the Chargers, and the Bengals are going to destroy the Cleveland Clowns. We don't care about this game, but Richardson is garbage. He can't even complete 50% of his passes. We don't care about this game. Who cares about that game? Maybe the Dolphins stay in the playoff hunt for another week. Dolphins are 7-8 entering their game against Cleveland. The 49ers are not going to win another game the rest of the year. Some way, somehow, Cardinals are staying in the playoff race. Some way, somehow, the Dolphins are staying in the playoff race. These 2 mediocre games, and then the Eagles in Washington. Anything can happen. Um, I think if you take a look at Tampa and they're 9-6, and let's just assume that Atlanta beats the Fadas, and Atlanta has a bye week, or they beat the Giants. Okay, so now Atlanta's 7-7, so they're out of the wild card. The Seahawks somehow stay in the wild card. Washington, maybe clinching week comes a little bit later, honestly. Clinching week is just going to come a little bit later for Washington. So you have your you have your you have your Cardinals who lost against Washington. So Cardinals winning the division makes this more interesting. If you have Washington, kind of competing with the Seahawks and the Rams for the wild card, the Cardinals somehow win this division. You can't have everybody clinch in the same week. So again, the Seahawks are collapsing. They're a pretender. I think things have to be interesting for the AFC #1 seed. The Lions respond. The Cardinals keep on. They get back into the picture out of nowhere. The Broncos could be on the verge of collapse. Could the Ravens clinch the division on Christmas? Merry Christmas to Baltimore, because the Texans already clinched the division, so you're maybe setting up Christmas to where the Ravens can clinch the division at Houston, who have nothing really to play for. You're not catching the Bills, you're not catching the Chiefs, so the complacency, so to speak, could be what is derailing the Houston Texans. Imagine if we get another Lions-Washington rematch. This was a rematch. This was the NFC Championship game, I think, in 1990 when Deion Sanders was there. Imagine if Washington pulls up the upset against... just not seeing it, though. Detroit, Green Bay. If Green Bay wins, maybe Cardinals upset the Vikings or something. Who knows? Who does Sam Darnold go up against? Sam is Camacho of Glendale, which is 33. Vikings already lost against the Rams this year too, so this remains interesting. Packers and Bucs could be an interesting matchup. I don't think we're gonna see any Bucs Eagles matchup. Bucs beat the Eagles twice in the playoffs. So this is interesting too. Either way, Lions, Packers, but Lions beat the Packers twice already, so maybe Bucs Eagles divisional game. Baker's letting this baby cook. It all depends on who the Lions play. Mahomes, who does he go up against? You want a Ravens Bills rematch? Number 2 against number 5 in LA Chargers against Kansas City Chiefs. They battled very hard. Do the Chiefs get 3 wins against the Chargers? It's going to be good.